Good evening, everybody. Hope you can hear me okay. I'm sitting here in a bright ray of sunshine. It's like I'll just lean forward. Hopefully, that won't blind anybody, but cats sure are loving it. I just had something I had to get off my chest, and I'm going to fidget with this big old copper ball that I had. But I'm reminded of my family, and I just don't like the way this camera looks today. But I'm reminded of my family lately. The holidays are coming up, and I have three sisters, and I had a brother. My brother passed away years and years ago, but I do have three sisters. Two are older, and one is younger. I was the fourth out of fifth children. But yeah, my older sister Helen. She's the oldest child, and then the middle child. My brother was second. The middle child is Ginger, and then I was born, and then my little sister Tigger. And I'm not going to try to explain that because I spent my whole life trying to convince people that that was real, and I just get over it. If you don't believe it, that's okay. But it's Helen, Ginger, and Tigger. And my mom had Alzheimer's, and Alzheimer's set in a long time ago. And for people who've dealt with Alzheimer's, you know it's not just about forgetting things. A person with Alzheimer becomes very violent. They become very accusatory. I could say that in my head. Accusatory. There we go. Paranoid, angry, and just bizarre behavior, and they're very hard to control, and they won't take their medicine and stuff. And my sister Ginger had been taking care of my mom for a long time, and when the Alzheimer's set in, she still took care of her, and it got worse and worse and worse over the decades. And it finally got so bad because my sister has kids too and grandkids, and my mom couldn't live with the kids anymore. She would just accuse them of stealing her medicine and accuse them of coming in her room and stealing stuff, and she'd get really violent and yell at them. And my sister couldn't control her anymore, so she talked to the other sisters and said, look, I can't do this anymore. I've been doing this for 20 years, and if neither of you would take her, we're gonna have to put her in a home. And of course my other two sisters are just like, oh, no, 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 we can't do that. And they got really angry at Ginger for suggesting this in the first place. So, and I couldn't do anything. I lived out of state. At the time, I lived in a big house that was nothing but stairs, and it was at the point where my mom couldn't climb stairs. And there were literally stairs all over the house, so that was kind of out of the question. But she finally said, I can't do this anymore. And Helen, the oldest sister, said, you know what, I'll take her. And she got really mad at my sister Ginger, and they weren't talking, and she took my mom in, and within a month or two, she's like, I can't handle this anymore. This is way too much. I had no idea what you were dealing with. My mom wouldn't take her medicine. She would pretend to take it and then put it under her mattress, and then accuse the kids of stealing and all this stuff. And it was really, really bad. And she's like, you got to take mom back. I can't deal with this. And Ginger's like, no, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. So Tigger said, I'll take her. And after a month or two, she's like, I can't do this anymore. She's just too violent. I can't control her and all this stuff. And she doesn't know where she is, and she just accuses everyone of everything. So the decision was made to put her in a home. And so they found a nursing home, and I think it was for the better. And what would happen is my sister Helen and Tigger would go in to visit, and my mom would be like, just like always, oh, the nurses are slapping me and they're taking my pills and hiding my stuff, and they come in here and they laugh at me. And my sister Ginger's like, that's the Alzheimer's talking. None of that stuff is happening. It's all in her head. The nurses aren't doing anything. And but my other two sisters are like, oh no, oh my God, we got to pull her out of this nursing home and we're going to sue them for everything they're worth. And this happened again and again. They'd put her in a nursing home and they'd go visit her after a couple weeks, and she'd be like, oh, the nurses are taking my stuff and they're hiding stuff, and they come in here and they move my bed around so I can't find it. And, just these really crazy accusations. And like I said, she'd get violent. And the nurses are just like, well, none of this is true. And Ginger's like, oh, none of that's true. That's the Alzheimer's talking. But Tigger and Helen would be like, oh my God, we're going to pull her out of this nursing home. The nurses are abusing her, and we're going to sue them for everything they're worth. So this went on so long that nursing homes got the name, and they were refusing her. They're like, no, because she'll stay here for a week or, a month or two, and then you guys are going to try and sue us, and we're not going to take that. And it got really crazy. And in the meantime, all my sisters are fighting over this. They're fighting over who's going to pay. They're fighting over why aren't these lawsuits going forward and all this stuff. And it was just nuts. And Ginger's like, I don't have nothing to do with lawsuits. I don't have nothing to do with this. This is just too insane for me. So the other two sisters just stopped talking to her. And this went on for about 10 years. And finally, my mom passed away. And it wasn't without controversy, because they put her at a hospice, and she would say, oh, the nurses are beating me and stealing from me. And they were like, oh no, we got to take you out and put you in another hospice. And Ginger and I, because I understand it too, and we're just like shaking our heads going, you guys don't understand that stuff is not happening. And, it just got really bad. And I'm the neutral party. I'm the one that, I live out of state, so I'm like kind of watching all this and just shaking my head and trying to figure out who's not talking to who and everything. And my oldest sister, after my mom passed away, she moved down to Florida. And for the longest time, Ginger would not speak to Tigger and Helen and Tigger would not speak to Ginger. But Helen and Tigger were best friends. And after, this went on for a long, long time. And one day I was talking to Ginger, and I was like, well, what are your plans and this and that? And she's like, well, Tigger and I are taking a road trip down to Florida to see Helen. And I was like, whoa, what do you mean? You haven't talked to Tigger in years, and you haven't talked to Helen even longer. And what brought this on? They're like, well, we're all friends again. And I'm like, I don't even want to know. I don't even know what brought that about. So Ginger went on a road trip with Tigger and Helen to see Helen, and they all got along famously. But then other things would happen, and Tigger wouldn't talk to Helen and Ginger, or Helen wouldn't talk to Tigger and Ginger, or Ginger wouldn't talk to Helen and Tigger, and it was just one thing after another. It just happened over and over again. And it wasn't just the sisters, because they all have kids, and some of them have grandkids, and the kids were fighting too. The kids would be like, oh, your kid gave my kid drugs, and your kid slapped my kid and didn't apologize. And, this is, your kid borrowed a car and put a dent in it. And, it just would never end. It never ended. And, meanwhile, I'm still neutral, and I just sit out, and every once in a while they'll be like, hey, can you contact so-and-so for me so I need to find this out. And or Helen would be like, hey, can you contact something, can you ask Ginger something for me? And I quickly put the kibosh to that. I didn't want to do that, but there are one or two times they talked me into that. And then they were fighting about, I hate to call them heirlooms, but they were stuff that were favorites. My mom was a Libra, and she collected scales, and she had some very unusual scales and antique scales, and they're always like, oh, and whatever happened to this scale? You have it, you won't tell me. And they'll be like, no, I don't have it. And why would you accuse me of lying? And that was just another source for them to fight over. And it got really, really bad. And, you know, I never know. Whenever I talk to my sisters now, the first thing I always say is, so who are you talking with today? You know, who's feuding with who, so I can get a kind of a mental picture of this triangle, and you know, make sure I don't say something wrong or anything. So why am I bringing this up? And I'm bringing this up because we all have more than one family. We have the family we're born into, and you can't control what you were born into. You have your work family, your friend family, and a hobby family maybe. You know, there's different people that come together and form families. And it's like these families, you know, like the Treasure family that I had. And I'm watching this family and they're acting like my sisters. They're just tearing each other apart. And I've seen them tear people apart or tear each other apart, and then they're best friends the next day. And I don't even know what's going on. I just look and see who's fighting who. And I'm just like, this is just like my sisters, you know. And I've come to the realization and you know, I've accepted the fact that like there will never be another official family reunion. The sisters don't get along long enough for the four of us to get together with our kids and grandkids. It will just never happen again. And I've come to accept that. And I'm sad to say that I think we're coming to that point with this treasure hunting community. When I first started this, when I did my first video way back when I thought the chest was wood and all this stuff, I was going through a really deep, dark depression, a clinical depression. I was like at rock bottom, and this was my therapy, was making videos and getting involved in something. And I took great comfort being in chats, you know, being, you know, with Toby and Shelly, and you know, being in these chats and getting to know the personalities of the main characters, and getting used to, you know, each night someone was on and the same people would be in the chat, but you know, a different person would be on, so there'd be like a different dynamic. And you know, it was comforting to me. That was how I got through my depression. I had my own drama. I had you know, there was some people discussing me when they didn't know I was in the chat room, and that set me back years. I mean, that hit me hard, and I was right back in the middle of my depression. It finally got so bad that I, you know, finally turned myself into the medical profession, and they're helping me get back on my feet. I still don't think I'm 100%, but I'm getting there. And the thing is, I'm getting there, and I'm realizing my family's gone. My treasure family just isn't there anymore. It's broken up, and I can't imagine it ever getting back together again. Just like my sisters and I, you know, we'll never have a family reunion again. I just can't see this community coming together again. I don't think there's any hunt, any treasure, anything that will bring it together again. Any event, you know, there's just nothing. It's too broken up now, and I feel really bad about that, because like I said, that this community helped me through my depression, even though you didn't know it. Just going into a chat room at night, and that's why, like, when I'm sitting at work and nobody's on, I'm like, nobody's live tonight, there's no chat room. And it's like a part of me is gone, you know. And it's hard to find. I don't know if I'll ever find that again. Like I said, I don't think there's any hunt big enough. There's no event, there's no treasure, there's no puzzle big enough to bring the community back together again. and this is really disheartening to me. And I just wanted to clear the air here. I just wish people could put their, and I'm trying to be neutral again, but I see petty things be, come between people. I've seen heinous things come between people. The accusations are small and large, and the clashes are just personality clashes sometimes. And it's just like, why can't we get past this? Why can't we just act like adults and have fun and be together again? But I don't know. I think it's done and gone. But I'll hang on to what I can. Like I said, I'll try to be neutral. I still watch people's channels, even though this channel hates that channel and this channel hates that channel. And I see different people in the chats, and it just won't be the same. It's just not the same. And I'm glad. This is gonna sound funny, but I'm really glad I'm on this medication I'm on. I have to take like 8 pills a day at different times of the day, and they keep upping my doses. And now I'm going through bigger tests. I'm getting my sleep apnea test again, and there's just all kinds of things going on. And if I didn't have that, with this community falling apart again, I know I'd be right back where I was before. And I just would be sad about that. But I'm in a place where I can just open my eyes and say, wow, I think this is done. This is gone. There's still going to be some community left, but it's going to be like Detroit. If you don't know about Detroit, you can Google it, but yeah, that's how I feel. It's a ghost town of a once thriving community, and there's just a few people left in there that I don't know if they're even trying to hold it together anymore. But that's just how I feel. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I've been more awake lately and thinking more lately, because that's just the pills working. So I know, hey, I'm getting my motivation back. I'm figuring out how to lose weight. I'm helping out with a Thanksgiving dinner, and for the recovering addicts. And it's just like, I don't know, I have to find a new family, I guess. I was part of a Volkswagen family, and that kind of fell apart years ago, and that was a big community, and I don't know, I might try to go back there, but I miss the community, I really do. And I might go live once or twice just to see who comes in the chat room, and try to get some of that old flavor back again. But anyway, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I've been up for 20 hours. So I might be speaking emotionally more than logically, but sometimes you got to do that. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm trying to see where my sunbeam went. And even my cats don't get along, and I'll never be able to hold both cats at the same time. And sometimes that's sad, but I can hold them one at a time, so there's that. But when they get closer than a foot to each other, there's fur flying and blood and all kinds of stuff. So I cannot, I don't know what to do to get these cats to like each other. But anyway, there's something out there somewhere, and I'll keep going the route I'm going and see what happens. And maybe we can get Detroit back on its feet again. But something to think about, and I hope I didn't bore too many people. Now you get to know my family a little bit. My mom's name was Carly. My dad died a long time ago. I never was close to my brother, so his passing didn't really faze me at all. But my sisters, maybe, I don't know. I just can't imagine them ever getting together again. But we'll see, and we'll see what the community does. But it's always going to be a shell, and maybe something else will grow out of it. But only time will tell. But I wanted to get that off my chest. I wanted to, I don't know, get that out there and see what other people think. I'll leave comments open on this, and I don't know, maybe some people will make up with each other and get along again, and that would be great. And maybe Toby will come back. Toby and Shelly, they had the most calming, soothing voices, and I don't know, it's just crazy. And who was the guy that had the twin brother, and like he would get off camera and his twin brother would get back on? I miss that guy, and everybody else that was on. It seems like everybody had a show back then, and now there's hardly any. So take care, everybody, and the world doesn't need this community, but this community needs this community. The world doesn't need another treasure hunt, but we got together because of that, and we need each other, and the world doesn't need us, and so we need to lean on what we can. Anyway, take care. I'm going to sign off for real this time, and probably get some sleep. You guys all have a nice day.